We are here gathered just a few days before the centenary of our founding president of the democratic South Africa, and Nelson Mandela, and also the centenary year of Mama Albertina Sisulu, who's one of our heroines in South Africa, who were selfless and made sure that they spent their entire lives working for the liberation and freedom of our country. And of course, we are also gathered here under the theme that you have chosen of radical economic transformation, making the BRICS work for the youth. And we are looking forward to what you will come up with from this dialogue. But taking from what Nelson Mandela said to all of us, we must approach this dialogue with vigor, with dedication, with selflessness, because in the words of Nelson Mandela, to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but is to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. So we may be free in this room, but we know that there are people who are not free and whose dignity has not been restored, because there is no dignity in hunger, there is no dignity in poverty, there is no dignity in ignorance. So our dignity has been restored, but we have to live in a way, work in a way that will indeed eventually restore the dignity of those whose dignity has not been restored. And of course, one of the main problems that we are facing in this country, but in also some of the countries that are gathered here, is unemployment, particularly for the youth. But we know that one of the biggest nations in terms of population and also the economy, China, has done very well there, and I'm sure you'll be exchanging views also around that. We also want to look at the skills revolution in our country, because we believe that the skills are very important. But we know that in your countries you've done very well. India has done very well, even in technology. Russia is doing very well as well. And we know that innovation is also one of the priorities of Russia. I visited one of your innovation centers in Skolkovo, and I was very impressed. And I hope that some of your colleagues from across the BRICS countries may visit that center as well. So these things that are happening in your countries, you should be cross-pollinating and making sure that you share those areas of excellence and with others. And I also want to say we are all talking the fourth industrial revolution. And I hope that as young people, that's one of the things you'll be discussing. What does it mean? Not only what skills will it need, but how are we going to approach it? Because not all the people will be absorbed by the skills in the fourth revolution. Which other areas do we need to develop to ensure that other people are also accommodated? We know that Brazil has done a lot in terms of sports, in terms of culture, in terms of, and so have the other countries. And we need to see what role that has to play in that era of the fourth industrial revolution. When BRICS was here, there were African countries who participated on behalf of the African Union, because we believe as South Africa that you cannot be an island of prosperity without having your region, your continent developing. In the same way as we see Asia is developing, not as individual countries, but also in addition as subcontinents and continents. So it's important that we look at Africa. It has lots of possibilities. It still has lots of arable land. It's had lots of minerals. It's got young, vibrant populations, and it's looking at industrialization, infrastructure, and all those things. So I hope that as you interact, you'll also be looking at how we are going to be looking at that.